Over the next 90 minutes, we strap them up and we get ready to rock and roll. 5 hard-hitting interviews exclusively here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, with 4 head coaches. It helps kick off opening weekend as we welcome the action statewide. We'll be on the ground in Nashua both Friday night and Saturday night. 2 games to preview with 4 head coaches. We begin, though, with one of the state's best writers in about 15 minutes, Tom King, our old friend from both the Nashua Telegraph and ETV. He's got his finger on the pulse, as always, with the Nashua football programs. And after visiting with Mr. King, we begin to preview our Friday night matchup between Bedford and Nashua North. The Titans in a bit of transition with a new head coach. Longtime head man Dante Lorende passed the torch over the offseason to new head coach Chad Zabolis. He joins us at the bottom of hour number 1. At 6:45, Zach Matthews, another season at the head of the Bedford program. He will join us to give us the Bulldogs' perspective of that Friday night matchup. Then we look forward to Saturday. BG and South again will be live at Stello Stadium. Cardinal head coach John Trisciani Jr. will join us at 7 o'clock. And then at 7:15, our final interview of the night. Longtime Nashua South head coach Scott Knight will join us after the Panthers walk off the practice field. So a busy show once again. Tom King, Chad Zabolis, Zach Matthews, and then the final 2 are Trisciani Jr. and Coach Knight. As we get way, Steve, for another season. Glad to have you back in the saddle, my friend. Are you rejuvenated? You ready to rumble or what?
I am ready to rumble. I've been ready to rumble for the last couple months, to be honest with you, Nick. This is, as we get further and further away, hopefully from the COVID-19 situation, and that distraction begins to move into the background, we can really focus on football early and, hopefully be able to have a heck of a season coming up. I'll tell you, it's going to be awful hard to beat last season. I thought last season was tremendous with 8, 9, maybe 10 different teams that were really on the rise. And that was a big part in the hunt. And we'll probably talk about the new setup, right?
Yeah, a lot of parity. Again, in Division I. Bit of housekeeping for you. We are thankful to be invited to the Union Leader Power Poll this season, holding some votes there, some of the media votes. And that will be published, to my understanding, weekly, every Thursday, I believe, in the New Hampshire Union Leader. So our friend Roger, Chris, all those guys over there, we appreciate the invite and look forward to working with them. The first preseason power poll is out, and Steve, to no surprise, defending champion Londonderry is at the top spot. They recorded all 7 first-place votes. Of course, they're coming off their second championship in 3 seasons. A lot of key pieces are back for the Lancers, and as good of a team as any, of course, to start atop the power poll to begin the year.
Well, when you had some sophomores and juniors that were outstanding linemen, they're all coming back. But anytime you've got that, and obviously combined with the quarterback that took you through the championship game into the actual to get the title, as well as one of the receivers that scored 2 connections there, touchdowns. You got to look, and then of course, anytime you got Lozon and company behind the scenes and a great community like Londonderry backing up their team, bringing in the energy, you got to kind of give them. It's really theirs to start from the top, in my view, and work their way down. I think most people would agree with that at this point.
Trying to be the first team in 10 years to go back-to-back.
I saw that,
Division I.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. You mentioned the new alignment. We'll get to that. Instead of 4 conferences in Division I, there are 3. There's also going to be an extended tournament where there's a play-in round before the quarterfinals, semifinals, championship, etc. So we'll break that down. We can with Tom King in a few minutes. But let's stick with the poll. Londonderry at 1. Exeter comes out at number 2. The Blue Hawks perennially tough. They open up with a Seacoast game as they take on Portsmouth on Friday night. Londonderry, by the way, is at Concord on the road. So Londonderry at 1, Exeter at 2, BG at 3. We get an early look at them on Saturday night when they take on Nashua South. Nashua North follows BG in the poll at number 4. Will be there Friday night when they take on the Bedford Bulldogs. Rounding out the top 5 is Pinkerton. Longtime head coach Brian O'Reilly perennially has the Astros in the hunt. They look for their first championship since 2014. We mentioned Bedford. They open up at 6 in the poll. At 7 is Winnicott. Didn't suffer their first loss last year, Steve, until the championship round when they were on the wrong side of the final score against Londonderry, but they ran the regular season table and were very close to obtaining their second championship in the last 5 years. So they graduated a lot, as we know, but of course, Coach Francoeur has a program over there, not just a team.
Yes, he does.
So Winnicott definitely deservingly is in the top 10 again to begin the season at number 7. They open up at Dover on Friday night. At number 8, Timberlane. The Owls made the jump up after winning the Division II championship last year. They get to play with the big boys this year. They are D1. They are number 8 in our poll, and they take on Manchester Memorial on Friday night at home. Salem, number 9. After going to the semifinals 4 straight years, they, I think, are going to reload and not rebuild, as they look good last week at the Manchester Jamboree. Mm-hmm. They take on Central.
Was it 28-0
Friday?
Right? 28-0 in 2 quarters.
30-0.
30-0 in 2 quarters. Yeah.
An impressive win over the 10th team in our poll. That's Goffstown. And, of course, they're always on the short list year in and year out. So the Grizzlies round out our top 10. They will take on Keene on Saturday. Others receiving votes in the poll, some of the lower division teams, Milford, Pelham, Plymouth, Souhegan, and Division I Wyndham. There again is our top 10 union leader power poll for the preseason.
I think that BG is number 3. You could argue them number 2 because they as well have their quarterback coming back. They have their running back coming back. And I believe they have 2 of their 3 or 4 receivers that they have coming back as well. They've got a couple of linemen coming back that are just outstanding. They're right up there for very good reason. But I think Exeter may be losing the quarterback. When I look at polls, I put a lot. Is your quarterback coming back? Is that lead offensive leader of the team? And Exeter is a little bit different because they run an offense that is ground and pound. And when you look at Exeter without the quarterback, but I hear a rumor that the quarterback that's coming in is very solid. And if that's the case, Exeter could be giving anybody in this league tough. You get Coach Ball behind and his crew, same such there, a lot of spirit there. They're always in it. And as the season goes on and the weather gets lousy, that offense can function very effectively. I am going to mention Winnicott is going to be a lot about the quarterback, but they run that veer offense, and that veer offense, Coach Francoeur has got that thing fine-tuned. They get to the line so quickly. They're so stealth in their approach. Their offensive line coaches are outstanding, and Winnicott could very easily go up in the poll. We really need that first week to find. This is all kind of going blind to a certain extent. And then the last team that isn't in there, I just want to mention that I really think is going to make a run for it is Portsmouth. We saw Portsmouth, Nick, last year. We really, I was impressed with where that program is going. They got the numbers back. I mean, we could talk about this for an hour, but yeah, it's just, I want to get through this week so we can actually see some play and see some individual matchup. Who's making plays? Who's not? Who's got the great lines? Defensively, who's got the prowess defensively to be able to impose their defensive will on offense? Who's the heavy hitting team? Who's a team that don't know if I really want to play them this week? Who is that team? That could be Timberlane. You talking about Timberlane? I don't think I think Timberlane's dying to be in Division I. I think they've wanted to for a while, and I think with head coach Fitzgerald, they've got the goods right now to move forward. And as we always know, the Tornadoes are a great feeder program. So in order to play in Division I, you need a great feeder. And the last team that's kind of really exciting to see is the numbers that Memorial's got. 70, I believe, I could be wrong, 1 or 2, I believe it's 78 players on the team. That is so exciting for the Memorial Crusaders.
And they've got some pieces that by now have some experience.
Absolutely.
As well as they've played young in years past, kind of building, I think.
And we were expecting them to come out, but to come out and run into a bunch of injuries that first week kind of set them back, and that wasn't the season they wanted. But something's going on good there because you don't get 78 players if there isn't a good feeling moving ahead. So good luck to them as well.
All right, other games in Week 1. Merrimack, they're taking on an out-of-state opponent, Bonnie Eagle out of Standish, Maine. Again, with the new conference alignment, there's a little bit of a twist to the regular season schedule. There's 8 games that are scheduled
Yep.
against conference opponents,
Yep.
and then one either bye week or they can schedule an out-of-state opponent in that bye week. Merrimack choosing to do the latter as they take on Bonnie Eagle on the road up in Standish, Maine. Alvern is at Spalding. Londonderry is at Concord, as we mentioned. Salem taking on Central in the Queen City. Winnacunnet drives up the road a bit to take on Dover. Portsmouth goes down the road to face Exeter. Memorial is at Timberlane. And, of course, the game we are at on Friday night is the only matchup that contains two of the top teams in the power poll. That's Bedford at North. We get things going at about 6:15. The kickoff is scheduled for 6:30 Eastern. We'll be live in full 1080 HD at Stello Stadium on Friday night. Now, Tom King will be there as well.
Yeah, just
Talk to him in a moment.
A quick correction. Did you say 8 games or 9 games? So I'm seeing a 9-game schedule, and I see some all in New Hampshire. I see some others that have elected to take it. So there's
I think
9.
it's a minimum of 8 and a max of 9.
That's what it is. Okay, so that's, yeah, okay.
Because Central right now only has 8 scheduled games and 1 bye week. So I think that was more of a coach's decision, athletic department decision.
What to do with that extra situation. Yep.
But that's what we're looking at here, some out-of-state opponents on the schedule in 2022. To help make sense of it all with us, Tom King from the Nashua Telegraph and ETV is in the on-deck circle, live from the Tom Pound. He joins us next on FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
Sparkling ice.
Sparkling water with a boost. Zero sugar, full on flavor.
Sparkling ice.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited, Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Back here on FNL Gridiron, Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you live from the Bedford Beals Insurance Studios. We are usually going to be on Thursday nights during football season, broadcasting a night earlier this week, only our normal time, 6 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays moving forward. 2 big games to preview. Bedford and Nashua North kicks off our live coverage on Friday night. 6:15 is when we get going with our pregame. 6:30 is the opening kick from Stello Stadium. Then Saturday night, we're right back in the same spot as Nashua South takes on BG. And we speak to all 4 of those head coaches. First-year head coach Chad Zabolis of the Titans coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We'll speak with Coach Knight, Coach Trisciani, and Coach Matthews as well. Joining us right now, live from the Tompound, Tom King, senior writer with the Nashua Telegraph, and, of course, broadcaster at ETV. There he is. The pool is still open.
Notice the cropping of the pool just to irritate the heck out of me. That's what this is all about.
Wanted to make sure Steve saw the pool, apparently, in the background. Tom, how are you?
Oh, no sound.
We can't hear you,
Steve,
Tom.
You're right.
There he is.
You're right. You're right. The
Start
pool
over,
is,
Tom.
is
Start over. Start over.
Guys, I'm doing great. It's a Tompound day. I've been Tompounding all day. Steve, you're correct. The pool is for your benefit.
Thank you.
Ben likes it, and I told him it was for you. So, well, I mean, I can't do the show without the Tompound in the background, guys.
Absolutely. And boy, what a summer for the Tompound. Has there been wild parties down there or anything?
Oh, it's been fabulous. Yes, pool parties have won. You know.
Yes, absolutely.
That's about it.
I'll bet you July was up in the 80s.
I was in it last night around 1:30 in the morning. You know?
What was the temperature in July with that massive heat?
Oh, it was great. Pool was great in July, but I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, September 1st, temperature goes right downhill very quickly. So I got to get the most used to it. So, and you'll be spending all weekend with me, guys. I'll be there Friday. Right. I'll be there Saturday.
That's right. We're looking forward to it. Tom, let's start with Nashua North, since they're playing first of the three Nashua teams. The Titans, of course, now under head coach Chad Zabolis. The program decided to keep it in-house, so to speak. He was, of course, a coordinator last year and has been with the program. And they bring back a number of starters on both sides of the ball. 7 on offense, 5 on defense. They've got a stud in Toby Brown, somebody you have had your eye on for several years. Derek Finley, Jack Peters, etc. Those are names we're familiar with. How good can North be this season in year number 1 under Coach Zabolis?
Pounds on the line, guys, and there are some inexperienced linemen that he's got to get, into shape, and he's still going to be coaching the line, especially the offensive line. But I think if you want to see how good North can be, think back to last year's game against Pinkerton, where they went into Derry on a Thursday night and upset the Astros. I think that's the kind of team that North wants to be. They want to be a team that can put up points. They want to be a team that can stop the other team late in the game like they did. And I think that they should be a very good team this year. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be a playoff team, especially with the new format and the number of teams that are going to be able to get in. So we'll have to see how it works out. But Derek Finley, a great athlete. He's a baseball player by trade, but very good football player, very good quarterback, very good instincts. Give me a kid with athletic instincts anytime, and I'll show you a kid who's going to help his team win games. That's what Derek Finley, and I also think Jack Peters can do the same thing as a back, as a somebody to catch the ball out of the backfield, somebody to get the ball wide, somebody to get tough yards. I think they've got the players to do it, but it all depends on what they can do up front. And the other thing too is, with Chad Zabolis as the new head coach, he also kept most of the same assistants. So there's continuity for a lot of these kids. So I think that's going to help Nashua North.
Tom, let's talk about that continuity for a minute. Let's take it back. Coach Lorende, now we have a new coach. Do you sense, have you been to any practice, do you sense that the scheme and the goals and objectives of their offense in particular and their defense is going to be very similar to what was run before?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar. The one thing that I saw that was different had nothing to do with schemes, had to do with conditioning.
Yeah.
What Chad Zabolis put a lot of these guys through the first couple of days, they were dragging. I went to the first 2 out of the first 3 practices, and you saw a difference from the first practice to maybe the 3rd or 4th practice in how these kids have bought in and are in shape, and I think they're going to be one of the better conditioned teams. He got that from his high school coach, Bill Hardy, who I covered Chad when he was a player, and he got that from Bill Hardy, who was a big conditioning guy. North's going to be one of the better conditioned teams, I think, this season.
And what about the quarterback running the ball? Do you see that elevating a little bit more, given the athleticism?
No, I think Finley can do both. I think he's Zabolis talked to me about Finley is in terms of the way he throws the football. He's got more of a baseball type throw to him. He said they're working on that to get that out of him for football anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of Mahomes. It kind of looks like Mahomes a little bit when you see him throw the ball. Yeah, I agree.
And he said that to me too, exactly. But the thing is, hey, if the receivers can get open, Finley will get him the ball. But Finley is a dual threat. He can run the football and he can throw the football. And as long as, the one thing is, give me your best athlete and I'll put him at the quarterback position. Why? Because the ball's in his hands every single play. That was the theory with Curtis Harris, right?
Yep.
When they made him the quarterback, get him the ball every single play and then let him decide what he wants to do with it. That's what they're going to do with Derek.
Yeah, one last thing as far as North is concerned. One of the things when you have an offensive line that might have some of it or all of it, probably in this case some of it might be struggling beginning of the season. If you've got a quarterback that's got great athleticism and can run the ball, that really gives a little bit of time for the coaching staff where they can bring in the passing game as they develop a couple more seconds of coverage if they struggle early, and that can be a deciding factor. I couldn't agree with you more, Tom, especially at the high school level. A quarterback that's a dual threat is as important as any level you can look at.
Well, yeah, no question about it. The one thing that they don't want to have happen is they don't want to get beat physically. They were probably beaten physically maybe only one game last year, and that was at Keene, where they just got blown out and pushed off the ball. They don't want to see that happen again. They had a good offseason. The continuity again with Zabolis. I think North's got some things to look forward to, and I think it's going to be interesting. But you know what, guys? I'll tell you what. You were talking about it earlier. You want to go out and see some games to really get a handle on who's got what. You won't know until week 4, week 5, who's got what and how it's going to go. And by the way the schedule works is you got your 6 conference games, because there's 7 in each conference.
Yep.
And so you've got 3 at large. You can schedule an out-of-state game if you want, and the other 2 are by design by the way you finished last year. That's how that schedule worked. So,
that's kind of NFL-esque. Your schedule gets affected
I was
the
just
same way.
going to say, it's the way the NFL schedule works, and that's how they've done it. So that's why Girton is going to have, they're going to have to play some tough teams. They're 2 in-state games, and I think they're playing all 3 in-state. 2 of their in-state games are against the 2 finalists from last year, Winnicott and Londonderry.
Right.
That'll be a big game, October 7th.
Let's talk about BG, Tom. I mean, we know that the Cardinals were outstanding and in a lot of ways exceeded expectations a year ago by going 7-2. They had a big early season win over Salem that really piqued them on a lot of radars, so to speak, and they bring some key parts back, including maybe the ultimate dual threat, and now senior Matt Sanasuazo under center. Very capable dual threat offensively and defensively. May or may not be the best safety in the entire state. They bring back also a kid named Bellavance who ran for nearly 1,000 yards before his season was cut a little short due to injury last year. So with those 2 right off the bat, you're talking short-list talent at the skill position, I think, statewide when you talk about both Bellavance and Sanasuazo. Does it really start and end there, Tom, or what else is behind BG? And again, a strong opening ranking in the power poll from the Union leader at number 3.
Well, the lineman that's sitting next to you, Mr. Beals, is going to love this because the line is what makes BG.
Absolutely.
They've got the skilled people, and they developed them last year. But you talk about Rocco Geraci. He is one of the best linemen in the state, and he's
my number 1 right now. He and Londonderry,
exactly.
The basketball, yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
so those are the key guys.
Miles.
But they only lost 1 lineman from last year. So the thing about BG is, and Steve, you probably will agree with this, they have to have that winning instinct. And after Tony Johnson left, I think they lost that. Last year was the first year where I really saw them try to get it back. But they still weren't in prime position to play a team like Salem, who had something to gain in a little bit of revenge, and beat them by 30 points in a home playoff game. So they'll take that lesson.
I think
61-31.
I think in 2015 their offense was the best in all of Division One, but their defense they were running. If you remember the defense, they were running a 3-5, which makes no sense at the high school level, and they were getting 300 yards run against them. And then what would happen is they got tired out because they had so many players that year playing both ways. And I was every game, so I remember. But that offense was probably one of the best offenses I've seen, and I give the coach a lot of credit. But the defense they were running just didn't make it happen.
Yeah.
The difference this year is, but I agree with you. Other than Tony Johnson after he left, they really didn't have that other than that 1 year. I do think I give John a lot of credit with patience, young John, a lot of patience. And, of course, now we have the father and son program coming back because – you got son as head coach and father as line coach on offense and defense, and there's no lack of experience there. Some already had some good line coaches on the team, so they're going to be very, very well coached. And the last thing I'll say, Tom, is against Salem, to me, when that was the time that core of kids began to really believe in their coaching staff, because I thought that Salem game last year was coached as good as some of the best coaching I've seen in high school of all last year was in that game, and you could tell the kids had that, your point, winning instinct after that game, and they felt like they could beat anybody. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Salem was very well prepared for that game because they were following BG for a while because it
Salem
looked like that
tremendous.
was who they were going to end up playing.
Yep.
And that was just a tremendous game. I was kind of a little bit surprised Salem wasn't able to get to the finals. I thought they had enough talent to do it, but it just shows you what it's like in the playoffs and what you've got to do to be able to get there. There's always a team out there that thinks they can beat you, and Salem ended up losing down the road in the semifinals. They didn't win after that Girton game, and that's the difference.
I actually thought when they beat Londonderry at home, I thought Salem was going to go right to the finals.
Right. Yeah, they were hot. Tom, we got about 2 minutes here. I want to talk about Nashua South. Scott Knight back for a 20th season, and he brings back a lot with him. 8 starters on defense, 6 on offense. Can the Purple Panthers surprise some people this season after going 3-6 in 21?
Yeah. I think they're going to have to stay healthy. They're going to have to stay healthy. And that was a big problem for them last year. Injury-wise and everything else, they're going to have to stay healthy and get used to a new quarterback. And they don't have the skill position players I thought that were so good last year, like Josh Campo, kids that they could build on. They don't have those guys back. It's almost all new skill guys. So that's how that works out is going to tell us how things are going to go for them. Next year, this year, they had the problem that maybe North has this year. They had, they didn't have the line last year. Now they have the line this year. Let's see if they can add the skill people to it. It's an equation. Well, another kid that I want to talk about before we go, Jacob Baker. That's the other Girton kid who's really, really good.
Tremendous.
And that's the difference on defense. He just needs a couple of guys around him because those Tony Johnson teams, what do they have defensively? Speed. That's what Girton will need to try to have is speed defensively. I think Baker provides some of that.
Baker forces a double team. Baker forces a double team every single play, so that's going to open up blitz packages and things if Coach Trisciani wants to go after it.
All right, Tom. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
We'll know with South, North, and BG how things are going to go in Nashua this year. We'll know maybe the first weekend.
Yeah, we're going to know a lot, I think, by Sunday morning.
Tom just got my blood pressure up 30 points now, Tom. Now I'm ready to roll.
That's all right.
I got him go. But you know what? You know how you cool down, Steve? Right behind me.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. Steve. There
all right, if you see some fat guy jumping in the pool, you know who it is.
Dive right in, Steve. There'll be a tsunami alert. Steve Beals is going to dive in.
I take a shower every day, so there's no need to clean it afterwards, all right?
All right, Tom. We look forward to seeing you down at Stello Stadium this weekend. We appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Guys, take care.
And again, Tom King, senior writer with the Nashua Telegraph, broadcaster for ETV, a dual 2 broadcast affair coming your way on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire this weekend. Friday night, Bedford at Nashua North. Saturday, South will take on Bishop Girton. Both kickoffs come your way at 6:30.
Just a great guest, Nick. Every time you get him in here, he always says yes to you. And I'm sorry I asked so many questions, but
That's all right.
But I actually, as much time as I had there, I still wanted more. So figure it out, right? The guy is tremendous. He knows his football. He knows his high school sports in New Hampshire. And maybe we can touch a little bit on Bedford, pretty soon with Zach and Coach Zach.
By the way, the BG South game is at 6, not 6:30. So BG and South Saturday at 6, Bedford North Friday night, 6:30. All right, we talked about Chad Zabolis. Now we are going to talk to Chad Zabolis. Nashua North's first-year head coach is up next. You're watching FNL Gridiron right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
Sparkling eyes.
Sparkling water with a boost. Zero sugar, full on flavor.
Sparkling eyes.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. It's FNL Gridiron here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you, broadcasting live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. In about 15 minutes, we've got Bedford head coach Zach Matthews coming up, top of hour number 2, John Trisciani Jr. from Bishop Girton, and longtime Nashua South head coach Scott Knight, now in his 20th season, will join us at about 7:15 Eastern. Chad Zabolis is on deck. Quick housekeeping note. Friday, we're busy down in the Gate City for a 6:30 kick between Bedford and Nashua North, the only two ranked teams in the Union Leader Power Poll that are squaring off in week number 1. And then Saturday, we're right back at Stello Stadium for a 6 o'clock kick between Nashua South and Bishop Girton. Joining us now, making his debut here on FNL Gridiron, is Chad Zabolis, now in his first season as head coach with the Nashua North Titans. Coach, glad you could join us. Thanks for carving out some time tonight. How are you this evening?
Pretty good. We had picture day today, so I'm trying to get home and had to pull over to the side of the road here, so that's why I'm in my car. But
well, we won't hold you. We won't hold you up. We won't hold you up too long, Coach. I know picture day was always exciting, at least from my perspective back in the day.
The worst day for Coach. It's
I could not agree more. I hated picture day. I did it for 13 years, and it was more the junior high level, Coach, so you can imagine what that's like.
Oh, yeah, you just got to get their attention back, and it's tough.
It is tough.
To get them back.
Are we starting to get a little more volume now? Can we get a little more?
Yeah, Ben, if we can turn him up a little bit, that'd be great. Coach, I want you to take me back 6 months or so, back in March when you were hired as the head coach. Obviously, you're familiar with the program, being a part of the program the last several years under head coach Dante Lorende, a coordinator last year. Of course, you and Coach Lorende went all the way back to the Merrimack days. How has this transition in the first 5 or 6 months on the job been for you personally as now head coach of Nashua North?
The transition's been pretty good just because Coach Lorendi kind of, we've been together so long and the staff's been together so long. We know each other so well, and we were able to keep the staff pretty much together. So that part of it's been a pretty easy transition. Myself transitioning to a head coach, that's a little bit different. Dealing with the parent emails and dealing with picture day and, dealing with trying to get our, the PAL team and us kind of connecting and stuff like that, the youth programs. And, dealing with that part of it's a lot different for me, obviously. But the
and of course,
overall, it's been good. We have a good staff in place, and most of us are still together, so that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. And how about the kids piece of that puzzle, Coach? A lot of returnees, a lot of kids that have played under you before, so you've had a chance to develop those relationships. Have the returnees, the seniors in particular, have they made your life a little bit easier, so to speak, over the last few months?
Yeah, they made my life easier. I don't think I've made their life easier, but they were in a little bit of a rude awakening in our summer practices and stuff. And, the past couple of years with COVID and all that stuff, we really haven't had a good preseason, and now finally getting back into it. These seniors, the last time they had a true preseason was like their freshman and sophomore year. So we had to really kind of, kick them in the butt a little bit and work hard. And I don't think they were quite ready for it, but they bought in and, we kind of got to, that third or fourth day and they started to buy in and started to realize, hey, we need to work hard to be a good football team. So, they're starting to buy in a little bit. The kids, they've been great for me. I know them, I've been an offensive line guy. I'm starting to kind of, move around the field a little bit more. So learning the skill positions and walking around there, but still have a big part in the O-line. So the kids have been great in the transition. We had an awesome summer for off season. We have a lot of 3-sport athletes. So, our real true summer workouts is when we really kind of begin because of how many kids play 3 sports.
Coach, the year that you guys won the championship a couple years ago against Goffstown, we followed you guys. We did a lot of games, and a very exciting team to watch. And you know how some teams have all of that momentum going for them, and then they lose it. You guys didn't. You guys just got stronger every single game. And one of the things I noticed, and I watch a lot, is that obviously like to watch the trenches. But I was watching the continuity and the unity of the coaching staff. I didn't sense it just seemed like a great group of guys. Everybody talks to one another. There's a lot of communication going on. 2 coaches talking to one player. You can see everybody nodding their head. I could go on and on about that. But no matter what, when you're a new head coach and the buck stops with you, everybody has some different deviations. It looks like and it sounds like there'll be a lot of the same, but what do you see, or when you became head coach, you say, this might be something I want to take a little look at, looking at high school football in general? Is there anything different that you're looking to emphasize through your coaching leadership? As far as scheme, as far as the type of offense, type of defense, defensive fronts, linebacker core, you run the nickel, you're going to run cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, a lot more. What do you see out there?
So the biggest thing with us was the 2 guys that I need to really make sure I kept on staff was Zach Harris as my offensive coordinator. Him and I have worked together now since Merrimack, and we've done a really good job. I've been really pretty much the run game guy offensively, and he's my pass guy. And we just kind of, even since the beginning, the way our offense has evolved, just from, the way we call plays, the way we signal plays, it evolves every year. It may look the same up front, but, the biggest thing for me, and I'm very big with the offensive line, knowing what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, they're going to be able to block people in front of them, even if they're inexperienced. So, if they don't quite have that technique, that's okay. But if they know where they're going and they
Their
know that
assignments.
type of play, yeah, exactly. So assignment football is huge, especially up front. We try to keep it as simple as possible for those O-linemen. We can do as much as we want in the backfield, all the eye candy we want. We can read different people. We can kick different people. We can do all that stuff. But if it still looks the same up front, we're going to be in good shape. And if you, like you said, you watch that, that championship game, we only threw the ball once. And it was a stretch pass with Derek Finley, who
Yep.
threw the ball. And we didn't need to throw the ball because those guys up front were so tight and understood exactly what we were going for. Even making like different changes on the sidelines, those guys made the changes, not me. Those guys could say, "Hey, coach, we're doing a pretty good job with this guy. We can single this guy up. We don't need to double this guy. Okay, great. That gives us an extra blocker. Things like that. So if you can get that O-line clicking, that's a big part of the offense for us. And something I always that's just me. And I'm a Scott Knight guy. I did my student teaching through Scott Knight. I played under Scott Knight. I coached under Scott Knight, and he's a big line guy, as you know as well.
Oh yeah.
And if you have a good offensive line in high school football and you have a good defensive line, you're going to win some football games.
Yeah, you're going to have a rested defense too. A rested defense is key. Yep.
Yeah,
Coach,
right.
fun-
And then you go back to that championship game, and everyone says we got Curtis Harris, and yeah, we did. But if you really look at it, he only ran the ball about 12 times.
Yep.
Because everybody else, and you got those guys up front who are just tearing people up front, and that's the game, the trenches.
Coach, final question. Outside of the trench, what should we watch for on Friday night against Bedford? Give us a couple of keys to look for.
Well, offensively, you got to watch for Derek Finley. He's a heck of an athlete. He's going to make things happen. It could be a broken play, and he might turn that into a 25-yard gain. He's been outstanding so far, and he's been a good leader too.
Oh,
Well, they gave us a little tease, I guess.
boy.
Coach,
we got okay. There we
we
go.
lost you for a second, Coach.
Yeah, finish up, please.
Yeah, go ahead and finish up.
And then this kid that really nobody knows about because he hasn't really played is a kid named Amari Almonte. He's a senior this year, but he's been hurt almost, let's say, his freshman year, sophomore year, and his junior year. So he's really never even played a down of football for us, and he's a H-back for us. He'll run the ball, he'll catch the ball. He's going to surprise a lot of people this year. So he's going to be he's a good guy on offense and a great guy on defense too. So he's going to surprise some people.
Coach, we appreciate your time tonight.
Sure do.
Good luck this season. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you on Friday.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And again, Chad Zabolis, the new head coach at Nashua North, taking over for longtime head man Dante Lorendi, and it seems like the Titans
didn't
are in
feel
great
very
hands.
new to me.
No.
Felt like you got to give Coach Lorendi a lot of credit in this. I have no doubt that this has been a groomed process. I'm sure Coach was stepped down when he was ready for all the right reasons for him, for his family, and everything else. And but all good coaches or great coaches care about the continuity of the program they had. And when you bring in a line guy that's already there, you've got a lot going for you. And he was able, like you said, keep his staff back. I don't know about you, Nick. It just didn't feel like a lot of new going on. Felt like let's get going. You know what I mean?
Felt comfortable.
Very comfortable.
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
As he embarks on his first game as the head coach Friday night. We'll be there, Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, live from Stello Stadium at 6:15 Friday night for the season opener between Bedford and Nashua North. Game kicks off at 6:30. All right, we heard from Coach Zabolis of the Titans. Now we hear from Zach Matthews of Bedford. He joins us on the other side. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
Sparkling eyes.
Sparkling water with a boost. Zero sugar, full on flavor.
Sparkling eyes.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Back here on FNL Gridiron, Nick and Asta, Steve Beals with you live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. If you missed any part of the show, don't worry. You can watch every episode of FNL Gridiron for free on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube, FNLNH Media. Just scroll under the video section, and you will find tonight's broadcast. We already spoke with Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph, helping preview our two games coming up this weekend. We have Bedford and North on Friday night, BG and South on Saturday night. And some good stuff there from Coach Zabolis as well, joining us from Nashua North. We speak with Coach Trisciani Jr. in about 15 minutes, and then we wrap up the show with longtime Nashua South head coach Scott Knight. But joining us right now is Zach Matthews, Bedford Bulldog head coach going into his fourth season. Bulldogs perennially, seems like, Steve, always in that top six, top eight mix in D1. A little different this year, as we know, with the schedule and the three conferences. And some unknowns on the Bedford side. They bring back 9 starters from a year ago, but a lot of spots, I guess, yet to be filled with some of these new kids. Coach, how are you this evening? Thanks for coming back on FNL Gridiron. We appreciate it.
Yeah, doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for coming on. I guess we start with quarterback, right? I mean, might as well. Joe Michael was your signal caller for the last 3 seasons, one of the best in the state. He graduated back in June, and now it looks like you're ready to welcome in a new leader, at least on the offensive side. Tell us about the quarterback spot, that kind of competition, and what we should expect to see come Friday night when you kick off the season against Nashua North.
Yeah, I mean, we've settled in on a quarterback at this point. So it looks like it's going to be Danny Black, who's returning. He was Joe's backup last year, played JV for us last year. He'll be a junior this fall, and had a season under his belt last year, got some mop-up time, had the ability to get some reps behind Joe, learn from Joe. And so we were pleased with his performance last week in the Queen City Jamboree. First quarter was a little up and down. Second quarter, he really settled in, 2 touchdown passes, and put us in some good situations. But certainly that's been an adjustment for the coaching staff, for our returning players. Anytime you have a new guy, looking at the guys in the face in the huddle, I think that there's some respect that has to be earned there. And I think Danny's still in the process of doing that. Until you lead the team out there for a first regular season game, you haven't proved that to your peers yet. And so I think although our team is excited, and I think they're excited about Danny's abilities, I think that this first game is going to be a true test, obviously, for him and the rest of our football program.
Coach, what are some of his strengths and what are some of the things he needs to work on?
Well, I mean, I think that there's no substitute for experience. So, speaking about what he needs to work on first, I think when you have a kid like Joe Michael last year who starts for you for 3 years, he's seen defensive structures. He's been in all those different situations, and we can't simulate that in practice. We can do the best we can of putting him in some of those uncomfortable situations, but there's no way for us to simulate game experience. So he just needs that game experience. I think his strengths, he's got a really strong arm. He's got, a really athletic build. And I think he does a good job with his legs, extending plays when we need him to, and making some plays outside the pocket when we have to. So I think that I'm excited to watch him get his first start. I think he's put a lot of groundwork in, whether it's working with the receivers and last spring, during the summer, 7-on-7. I think he's ready for the opportunity, and I'm excited to see what he does with it.
How about in the backfield? Logan Sphere is a returnee, now a senior. Seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was making plays, at least in my opinion, when we saw you guys last year. He was one of your more prolific playmakers. Does he head this stable of running backs for you? Does it start with him, or what does the depth at the running back position look like here to begin the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Logan's definitely the first guy. He definitely will get a bulk load of the carries for us. He's a big physical back. He's almost 200 pounds, and he plays defensive end for us as well. So he's a big, tough kid. We know, again, he's seen all the different situations, and we're excited about him, but we're also excited about the running back room. I mean, since I've been at Bedford, we've never really been a one running back team. And so we typically have a bunch of backs that get carries and share the load. And so I think we feel good about some of our depth behind Logan as well. Logan's certainly proven himself, but, we have a couple juniors and Ledger Russell and Alex Gridinskis who've just been patiently waiting their turn. And I think we're excited to get some opportunities as well.
Yeah, good athlete, Gridinskis. No matter what he does, good athlete. Coach, first thing I want to say is that the faith that you showed in Joe Michael and the stewardship that you provided and mentorship you provided him, I watched over the last couple, 2 or 3 seasons here, and I think you did a great job with him. I watched you, with him in that Exeter game. I thought that was a breakout game for him. I thought that lifted Bedford up after you guys came back. That run, he saw the defensive end cut inside, and he rolled out, and he just earned some the spirit, that young man, then goes and kicks a field goal. I just congratulations to both of you guys. You as his coach, and he as a player, and there he is going to Fordham, I believe, correct, playing some Division I AA football. So congratulations on that. You just love to see quarterback-coach combinations with that kind of success. And so I'll just stop by saying that. Moving on to this year, offensive line. Bedford's always been able to put together with their feeder programs coming in and then having the high school coaching staff develop them and fine-tune them. They've had good offensive lines. Are we going to expect that for Danny Black this year, or is it pretty much how many guys you have coming in that were experienced at varsity level, and how many new guys are coming in? What do you see in their performance preseason here so far?
Yeah, I appreciate the question because, as I said, our guys, it always starts up front, and it really does. Everybody wants to mention the quarterback position first, and absolutely we're lucky to have Joe, and we're lucky to have Danny now. But all the groundwork is laid by the guys that really don't get a whole lot of recognition. And so we're lucky to have 2 starters coming back who started last year for us as sophomores, and Spencer Henrishon and Jake Ben. And those kids got valuable experience last year as really young guys. And then we've got a mix of guys who've come in as seniors, again, some other guys who waited their turn. And we're excited about it. So we'll start a sophomore, we'll start 2 seniors, and then 2 juniors. So I think it's a good mix of experience and also a good mix of some youth in there that has some energy. But I really like how that group has come together. Speaking honestly, I think we might not be as big as we've been in years past, but I think that we're much more athletic than we've been in years past. So I think that our offensive line might not wow you with, oh my gosh, these guys are huge up front, but I love the athleticism of the group. And I think the athleticism of the group is going to be one of the strengths for this offensive line unit.
Danny Black and McAuliffe, Cal, what a frame, 6'5", 230 pounds, obviously a huge target. From the buzz that I hear, not only was he a huge target, he's got a lot of extension capability as well, so he's going to cover a lot of area in the receiving radius. how much experience has he and Danny had, between the two of them, and how are they looking as what could wind up being here to be a primary passing threat if they get together, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Cal was one of the first kids that reached out to Danny when the snow cleared off the turf fields and asked him if he wanted to go throw. A lot of those guys, especially the guys who want to get receptions, they know they need to get together with a quarterback. And so he was one of those first guys who I think recognized that Danny was going to be the guy for us this year. And I think that they've definitely developed a rapport. And, can't say enough good things about Cal. He's a captain for us. Last year he started at tight end and really was more of a reserve player on defense. And this year he's absolutely impressed at defensive end as well. And you mentioned his length and his wingspan, and we've been really impressed with his development as a defensive end as well. So really,
we'll be watching him for sure because he is a big target. Take a look. Take a look at North here. Team that looks like they could really make a run for it. They got a lot of talent. When you got a quarterback with that amount of threat, when you look forward this week, it's a big game for you guys. When you look at North, how do you analyze that game? What are the kind of things that you have to do well, and how in the world do you contain a guy like Finley?
Yeah, I think when you look at a special athlete at the quarterback position, I don't think you can expect to go in and totally shut down all of their opportunities. So we just have to make sure that his opportunities don't turn into gigantic plays and touchdowns. So he's going to get some of his, and I fully expect that because he's an absolutely great athlete. You look at the Finley kid at quarterback, you look at the Peters kid at linebacker and running back / slot receiver. You look at the outside linebacker and tackle they have, and they have some really good talent and kids who definitely have that experience. So I think that I always say to our kids, the first game is kind of a funny thing because everybody really hasn't totally found their identity. I think as coaches, we know who we want our teams to be, but I think you don't really find out until your kids are battle tested and you get out there. So, I know going into a game like this that, we're going to have to win the turnover battle. I don't think you can beat yourself with turnover. You can beat yourself with penalties. And I think in week one, a lot of times, you see teams really hurt themselves with penalties and turnovers, and those are things that you're not going to be able to come back from. So our focus, and this is, nothing against North because I know they're a really great team, but we have a lot of kids who are getting ready for their first varsity football game. And so you're game planning for an opponent, but you're also trying to get your kids in a position to be successful, feel confident in their own abilities, and play within themselves. And so I think a lot of that is, again, managing the emotions tomorrow night. Everybody's going to be excited. Week one brings a lot of emotions, especially for kids that are getting their first start. And so managing those emotions early, managing adversity, and then the penalties and turnovers, I think, are huge. I feel like if our kids settle in, I really like the group of kids we have, but you can't beat yourselves.
Well, good luck. We're excited about doing this game. Good luck. I'll turn it back to Nick. And, Coach, best of luck this year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Likewise, Coach. We appreciate it. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
You bet. You
Thank
too.
you. And again, Zach Matthews, fourth year head coach with the Bedford Bulldogs. Bedford at Nashua North coming up on Friday.
Critical year for Coach Matthews. He has, coming in after a tremendous coach is not an easy thing to do with Coach Stank, and Coach Matthews has picked up where that left off. He's won some really, really big games, and the sideline seems to function very, very well. And they take the feed of players they have, and they make a good stew out of it every single year. I do believe the fourth year for a new head coach. No, he's not new anymore, but I'm saying a fourth year for a coach is when you really, third year is kind of the pivot. First two's kind of developing, you get a free pass. In this situation, this is a big year for him. He's got a new quarterback that's a junior, so he's expecting to have him for 2 years. So be very interested. This is a good matchup. I don't think people realize that this game, regardless of whether he's got new players or not, most of these kids that have played football for a long time. So they're going to be coming in with a pretty good skill set. Bedford's got a good youth program that builds good
and you want to talk
players.
about programs? Well, combined, Bedford and North have won 3 of the last 6 Division I championships.
That's the whole point. So this is a real bellwether game here.
It sure is. The only matchup that features 2 ranked teams. We bring it to you Friday night live.
Jeez, Nick, you always get the
1080 HD.
You are right on that.
With our broadcast beginning at 6:15 with the pregame 6:30 is the kick. All right, hour number 2 on the other side as we break down BG and Nashua South. We welcome in Coach Trisciani Jr. of the Cardinals on the other side. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
Sparkling eyes.
Sparkling water with a boost. Zero sugar, full on flavor.
Sparkling eyes.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Back here inside the Beals Insurance Studios for hour number 2 of FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. I'm Nick Anastas with Steve Beals. We've already spoken with the Nashua Telegraph's senior writer Tom King, also broadcaster of ETV. We spoke with Chad Zabolis, first-year head coach of Nashua North. We just got off the horn with Bedford fourth-year head coach Zach Matthews. We've got long-time Nashua South head coach Scott Knight coming up in about 15 minutes or so to help preview our Saturday night broadcast, Nashua South against Bishop Girton, live from Stello Stadium. To help us with that, we bring in Bishop Girton head coach John Trisciani Jr., friend of the program, back in the saddle.
Oh, look at the background there.
No nonsense, joining us live from the locker room in Nashua. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
We are good. I'd imagine you've been excited all summer to see exactly what you have on your hands. Last season, a successful 7-2 regular season, a playoff berth, and you bring back really some key pieces from that core of a year ago. What are the expectations over there in Cardinal land, and what do you expect to see, I guess, first things first, in the season opener Saturday night against Nashua South?
It's hard to give you a clear-cut expectations just because of this new format, the new scheduling. We're in a conference that looks a lot different. So I think, what we might have viewed as success at one point is just very different now. I think at one point you really would have taken a lot of pride in making the playoffs, and now 13 of 21 teams are going to get in. So I don't know, really how to take that. If I were to probably try to give you an honest opinion based off of last year, we made the playoffs and had a performance that I think everybody would like to kind of forget. So I'd say, hey, we'd like to get into playoffs. We'd like to win some games. All right, that would be an improvement. So I guess we'll go there. As far as what to expect against South, we know that the Nashville kids are very tough kids. We know that they don't particularly love BG, so you expect to get a great effort out of them. I'm really curious to see what we have for a team. We just had a jamboree against Trinity, and we're very thankful that they agreed to play us. That's not exactly the matchup that I think one would have liked to try to get a gauge as to what you have in Division I. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I think, I could be as surprised as anybody else in that stadium, good or bad, on Saturday night.
Let's talk about your quarterback, Sanasuazo, back for another year under center. Obviously a dual threat when he has the football, and one of the better safeties in the division. Has he added anything to his game in the off season? Any wrinkle, a new dynamic, something new to watch for? Or should we expect to see basically the Sanasuazo that dominated a year ago as a junior?
I think the kid works real hard in the off season on his own. He does a lot going out throwing. So I'd like to think that he's developed as a passer. He's definitely got a better understanding of the game a year later than he would have at this time last year. He's a little bit bigger. We did height and weight on the kids right before we started, and he's put on some muscle. So, I'm going to be real curious to see how he plays. Obviously, for us to have success this year, it's going to be really important to keep the kid healthy. But thus far, I think everything is good in regards to, I think how he's progressed.
John, great to see those green lockers behind you there. It tells me it's getting that season. It's going to be 70-something high degrees in the beautiful southern part of New Hampshire. You can feel it in the air. I would imagine you are too, getting past some of this heat that you guys have dealt with. You got your dad joining you, not as an unpaid consultant, but you got Dad joining you right on the field. How's that been going? How does that feel to have my good friend there by your side?
It's been interesting, to say the least. It's always something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Always something I'd wanted to do at some point. To coach with him. I always figured it would probably be a role reversal where he would probably be the head coach and I'd be with him. And then luckily the stars kind of aligned. It was not something that we really planned on doing, and then it seemed like I was in need, and he kind of became a free agent. I try to take it one day at a time. One of the things I've kind of said is throughout the days, they're very hectic. When I come into work, I really don't know what's going to happen that day. We have pretty good numbers for BG football with 80 kids on the roster.
That's tremendous.
But on the flip side of it, there's usually a kid or two amongst those 80 that something might go wrong that day, or we might do something maybe we weren't supposed to be doing. So throughout the hectic days, I try to sit back and relax and, take a deep breath and realize I got an opportunity here to coach with my dad, which I don't know, how many years we'll be together. So you just kind of take it one day at a time. It is the first time that I've ever been around him where I've been in charge. So that's been very, very different. And I've enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah, that's eventually that does have to happen. Transition. But hey, what I'm interested, John, particularly, I mean, Sanasuazo and Charlie are just a dynamic duo last year. We saw it in the jamboree early, and it, before the injury, it really was very, very obvious. Expect nothing less. So rather than spend time on that, I'm really interested in your receiving core. And how they're progressing, and with what you can tell us at this point, going into a game this weekend, are there any surprises there? Good, not so good, whatever. I mean, is there an emerging? I don't like to use the word star. Is there an emerging player that is playing beyond maybe what your initial expectations were before going into the season?
Sure. I'd say, we kind of had an idea of the guys that we were going to have returning, and the expectations for them a year later just grow. As far as maybe some surprises, we have a player right now, Connor DeBoard, who's a big-time lacrosse player, who played as a sophomore for us and then didn't play last year because he was doing fall lacrosse. And now he's back, and he is big, and he is pretty physical, and he's very athletically gifted. He's a very good blocker. He's a very good pass catcher. He stood out very, very, very much in that jamboree last week. So he's been a surprise in a very good way. And I think that he could potentially be one of our best players.
Really?
I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that's been probably the big eye-opening thing thus far from a personnel standpoint. He also allows right now us to move Jacob Baker back to the offensive line where he was playing a lot more tight end for us last year.
Yep.
And it's really just a puzzle, trying to find, the best 11 guys and put the puzzle pieces together to get them on the field all together. We also have a transfer that came in, Ronan Bellistreri, who's very, very good for us as a defensive back and another receiver, but, a piece that we didn't have last year. He stood out a lot in 7-on-7s in some of the summer workouts. We're going to return Chase Amaral, who played in the slot for us. We return Cody Szymanski, who played corner and was one of our best receivers last year. So we're in a pretty good spot. We got another one, Gavin Bombara, who's about 6'5" or 6'6" at receiver. So we're hoping to try to get him in the mix.
Got some big frames coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, I think, than what you've seen from years past.
Yeah.
We're going all the way back where, when we're trying to win some games and start out, everybody knew who Joey Lupo was. And, this year it might be everybody knows about the quarterback. But there's a lot of pieces there. I think that we're going to be a little bit more diverse on offense as far as where we can attack and where we can get the ball to some of these skill position players. So it's going to be fun.
I always have thought you've been a great coach because it goes back quite a ways, and I have experience as a parent as well, and I say that with complete honesty. But something happened last year when that you could see that the BG football, in my view, kind of turned a dime during your leadership as you were gradually building the program in that Salem game. I thought the coaching staff and I thought the player connections and buy-in from the players, obviously that obviously developed. We don't get to see it till that game. I'm sure that was developing over time, and you knew that. But it just seemed after that game that BG, even though it was not the game that you wanted, the last game there, but during the season that the team and the coaching staff really seemed to develop and buy in, and you didn't get a sense that they were struggling through a game. You got a sense that they were hungry. Any comment on that, or have I completely missed the boat on that?
I think there's probably
something switched. It was almost like a switch went on.
Yeah, there's some parents that may disagree with thinking that I'm a good coach, but I appreciate the compliment. I'm going to say the course of last year, it's just a lot of confidence, right? The kids start playing well. They start winning some games. We had the early upset of Salem, according to the power poll. So the kids they start to believe in that. When you win, winning is fun. Winning fixes everything. Winning cures everything. With those games, sometimes you play in a couple close games. There's a bonding experience there. The kids come in the locker room after the games. They're creating lifelong memories that they're never going to forget. Yeah. As far as, the buy-in process, the kids just want to be put in a position that they're going to be able to succeed. So if you can, try to talk them through a few things, whether it's plays or alignment, assignment, whatever it is, and they get put in a spot and they do succeed, I think that's when you kind of start to win them over. I think I've struggled at times too with the aspect of, how kids have changed over the years, or potentially how, how they're raised at times. I'm really not here to do anything other than coach football and get the best out of these kids. I'm most certainly not here to be their friend, and I think at times we kind of get caught up in some of those things. As the expectations here grow, we need to get these kids to move, right? We're not just going to be able to show up and make a run here. So we're trying to hold the expectations high, hold them accountable, and a lot of returning starters, we're really trying to push them, trying to get them to take this next step.
Coach, we appreciate it as usual. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday in action in the season opener against Nashua South. Thanks again for coming on.
Thanks, John.
You got it. Look forward to seeing you guys too.
Thank you.
All right.
And again, John Trisciani Jr., head coach with the Cardinals, and perhaps the most talented team, Steve, that he's inherited to begin a season.
What he had to go through the first, second, and third year, specifically the first and second, takes patience. You take a lot of heat. No matter what, at BG, every year you're going to play sports at BG, there's going to be high expectations, and that's a good thing. That's a good culture to be around. And I thought, when you look at he I wouldn't call it blinders, but he's focused and he knows what winning is. He's been in the position to win games since he was a young player at youth football, right on up through. Come from a football culture, football family, I'm very excited to see when he's got a top 10 talent team, what he's going to do with that team this year. And he's got some good coaches next to him, as does Nashua North. So I'm thrilled for him, and I really mean what I say. I have personal experience from my own kids being coached by him, and I can tell you there was never a motivation problem with the kids with John's coaching. And so I think BG's fortunate to have him. And that Salem game, and after that Salem game, you could see there was just a switch that went on. Well, as I said before, a lot of these kids, I really feel this, and they really began physically to feel they can match up.
Yeah, and they played well.
They did.
Last season, 7-2 on their way to the playoffs. All right, BG is number 3 in the poll. Nashua South is unranked, but they got a guy with 20 years of head coaching experience on the sideline in Scott Knight. He joins us next. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
Sparkling eyes.
Sparkling water with a boost. Zero sugar, full on flavor.
Sparkling eyes.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Final segment here of FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. Reminder, if you missed any part of tonight's show, any of the interviews, you can check them out on our YouTube channel. That's FNLNH Media on YouTube. Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube. FNLNH Media. We're under the videos section. That includes interviews tonight with the Nashua Telegraph's Tom King, first-year head coach with Nashua North, Chad Zabolis. We spoke with Coach Matthews of Bedford. Just got off the phone with Coach Trisciani of Bishop Girton. Speaking of Bishop Girton, want to promote our friend Joe Marshallana over at NHHighSchoolSports.com doing this year's edition of the season,
which is fabulous,
with BG. So some behind the scenes looks with the Cardinals, kind of like a Hard Knocks type of presentation. Check that out at NH highschoolsports.com. Final interview here. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was going to say, go on Joe Marshallina's site and look at the other seasons that he did, with some of the other programs. It's outstanding work, and it's really an inside where it's kind of a great opportunity to sit down with the coaches, and really gets in deep and then ties it into highlights and progresses. This kind of
does a great job.
It's the local 30-30 or the local football life. It's a great job.
Yeah. So, again,
Joe's super.
We appreciate working with Joe. We look forward to talking to him down the road. And, again, BG opens their season against Nashua South here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, Saturday, live from the Gate City, 6 o'clock Eastern is the kick. Joining us now, entering his 20th season as head coach with the Nashua South Purple Panthers, is Scott Knight, joining us live. Coach, good morning, or good evening, I should say. How are you here on the eve of the season? We appreciate you coming on, and how you doing tonight?
Great. Thanks for having me.
I guess first things first, you're returning 14 starters, which is a pretty good number. Some of the skill positions from a year ago have moved on, including your all-state running back, Josh Campo. But the good news is it looks like your guys who are coming back have really bought in, right? It looks like the weightlifting numbers are up. Numbers in general are healthy. I'd imagine so far so good, at least through training camp. Where is this team here on the eve of the season in your mind?
We're still a work in progress. We've had a couple good scrimmages, and we like what we're seeing. I will give it to I give them a lot of credit. Our kids work hard, and they're 100% attendance every day. They give us everything they got. They stay after practice. They're out early. So they're doing everything we ask them to do. We had really, really good leadership amongst the seniors. We have a decent-sized senior class, 19 kids, and they're leading from the front pretty good. It starts in the locker room. So right now I think we got that part covered. Can we perform on a Friday night or Saturday like this week? We'll find out. But we do have some veterans. A lot of these guys have been in the fire. So I like where we're at there. We still have some untested guys in some of the skill position, but they're showing some good things in camp. We have a little more balance this year, I think, across the board, and really, really like our defense. And the offense is, we're getting better every week.
Takes a while.
We spoke with Tom King earlier, Coach, and the first group that he mentioned on your squad was that offensive line. Is that the strength of this team, at least offensively, the O-line?
I'm not sure right now. We got a couple 3-year starters in Matt Harding and Colby Vancelette. Benito Medellin's a big kid. He's playing the other guard. He's a long, long way. Connor Como's playing tackle, and he's another senior, all seniors, and he's worked pretty hard, got a lot bigger. And then we have a right guard, Kevin DeBuisi. He's our right tackle. He's just a sophomore, and he's getting better all the time. Neil Reyes is another kid that's pushing for a job as well. So they work hard, and we have enough size to do some damage, I think. This can be a tall order this week. BG is pretty loaded up front. I think it's going to should be a good challenge for us for sure.
Coach, thanks for coming on. As Nick said, always appreciate you having you on. I want to just kind of talk to you about the new schedule, the way it's been set up, and what your thoughts are on that in general about having another opportunity to have like a preliminary playoff round. Do you like where these changes have been? Any thoughts on it, plus or minus?
There's nothing I don't like about it.
Yep.
I like the extra teams getting in. If you get hot late, maybe you're a team that's needs to mature a little bit, and maybe can sneak in and for teams that we get a lot of guys that don't have a lot of experience. I got 2 corners that are starters. They're second-year players. Okay, I got a kid on the O-line. It's his first year ever playing football. So we get a lot of kids that don't have a lot of experience, and sometimes it takes us a little while to gel. So for some of us late blooming teams, we're not like Pinkerton. We don't get out of the gate just hitting on all 8 cylinders. It takes us a little while. So for some of us late blooming teams, it's a benefit to maybe have an extra layer in those playoffs. I do like the regional thing. Adding Goffstown and Bedford, I think, is good for us because it's all keeps everything even more local. And I liked it when we did the Seacoast thing. But frankly, if we get we may have a year we got to go to Dover, Spalding, and Keene. It gets, those are some long rides. But Bedford's local, Goffstown's local. Throw in Merrimack, North, PG. So it's kind of nice having this Western Conference that everybody's.
Oh, you
pretty
bring up
close.
some very good points on it. Let's talk about. You said you're kind of into your defense, Coach. You look at your defense, you like what you're seeing. What specifically is it? Kind of that smash mouth attitude that they're not going to physically be having anybody giving their will to them. Do you feel these guys are at a point where they're going to be relatively soon in the season be able to impose their will defensively? What position groups do you like, or is it just the whole defense in general?
Where we got better is we were pretty stout against the run last year against everybody. And I have the Colby Van Salette and Matt Harding are our 2 D tackles. They're big, strong kids, and they're seasoned football players. So and those guys hold it down pretty good in there. Tony Martinez, he's a super athlete, and he's 6 foot 220, and he's fast, and he's coming off the edge on one side, and Connor Como is over 6 feet tall, and another kid that's in the 2-something range. So we're the front 4 are pretty solid, and then kid Alvin Pascal that's just put a ton of size on it, just a real good football player. He's one of our inside backers. Cody Good is another 3-year starter. He was an alpha linebacker.
What is his frame right now, Coach? Where's he?
Colby's not a big kid, but Cody Good's not a big kid. He's probably 170 pounds, but he plays like a madman. He flies all over the field, so he's playing more of like an outside linebacker position for us now. But he was an inside kid, and Tanner Pulaski's really matured a lot. He can play the alpha, and then the other kid Pascal Buck. I got another one, Jake O'Connor, who started last year at linebacker as well. He's playing both linebacker positions, but he's shown to be an unbelievable defensive end. So he's playing a little bit of both, and he's another kid that's got the full year under his belt, and then our secondary, I think, is we've had some big upgrades in the secondary. We're got a little bit more length in the secondary. Got a sophomore safety, Kyle Emmons, but he's just a real good football player. And Keith O'Donnell started for us at corner last year, a year of just becoming a much, much better athlete. Hayden Leon's another corner. He was new last year. He's looking good. And then we have some newcomers that are doing really good too. Diego Cabrera, Samson Cody, those guys are sophomores, but they're phenomenal athletes. So they're working in there as well. So right now, I think we have a chance to be pretty good on that side of the ball just because of our experience from on the front end and on the back end.
Keep you in games so you can get the offense the kind of reps they need to develop, so to speak.
Yeah, and our quarterback, Carson Lemire, his first year playing football was COVID year. He never played football in his life. And I think that year we only played 4 or 5 games, and he was playing sub-varsity and didn't really quite know how to throw a football yet. And if you saw him now, you'd just be shocked. And he's a terrific athlete. If you watch him play basketball, he's twitchy. He's fat. He's got some quickness. He's over 6 feet tall, and he's had a real good scrimmage a couple weeks ago. So he's looking really good. Just got to keep him healthy and be consistent.
Well, good luck, Coach. Saturday night.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we look forward to it as well. And thank you for coming on tonight and helping us break it down. We appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. They got a nice team. They got a lot of kids back from last year, so it should be a good challenge for us.
Excellent.
Coach, good luck, and we'll catch up down the road. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, thanks, guys.
You bet.
Thank you. That again, Scott Knight, long time.
I don't think I'd
Head
want to
coach
be
at
on the
National
other
South.
side of the line of scrimmage from Coach Knight. That was an intimidating view there with the camera. Where
He's
if he was low man, it's hard to imagine he doesn't win.
he looks like he could strap him up right now
He sure does.
and be just fine.
What a great guy.
Final reminder of our broadcasting schedule this weekend. Doubleheader, Friday night, Saturday night. We get busy down in the Gate City. First with Bedford and Nashua North. That's a 6:30 kickoff. We get things going with our pregame coverage at about 6:15 Eastern. Then on Saturday night, we're right back at Stello Stadium for round number 2, this time featuring Nashua South and Bishop Girton. It's all presented by Beals Insurance. The Saturday kick is at 6 o'clock. Steve, your final thoughts on what we experienced here tonight in our first show of the season here on FNL Gridiron.
I feel even though we had only about 15 minutes with each coach, I feel that they all of them did a fantastic job of giving me a little bit of insight of where the culture is,
right?
Guys to look at, potential schemes to look at where their strengths are. And I give you and Ben credit. I think you guys picked 2 great games for this weekend, I think the thing that you said early is really good. If you look at the Nashua North Bedford game, it's 2 top 10 teams from last year playing each other.
Yep.
Really looking forward to that one. What I'm looking for in the South BG game is, does BG have that physical capability to impose their will offensively? And then I'm looking to see how good Coach Knight's defense is, because if he says they're good, it's very unlikely that they're not.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So we got 2 good games, and then the last thing I'll say is that when you look at the other games that we've got playing, it's just going to be really interesting when it comes to not necessarily just polling, but looking at the programs that where they're starting, and then watch that development throughout the year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This whole season is going to be competitive, and we're going to have a front row seat. As we
always look forward to working right with you, Nick.
Broadcasts coming your way each week, again beginning Friday night with Bedford and North. Want to thank our guests. Tom King, another great job. Senior writer, of course, from the Nashua Telegraph and broadcaster with ETV. We appreciate speaking with first-year Nashua North head coach Chad Zabolis, who looks like he belongs for sure over there with the Titans. Yeah. We welcome back Zach Matthews. Good to catch up with him. 4th-year head coach with Bedford. Always nice to speak with Coach Trisciani Jr. from Bishop Girton. And good to touch base again with Coach Knight there at the end from Nashua South. Want to thank the man behind the curtain, Director Ben Beals, putting in the hard work.
Great job.
As usual, we appreciate Ben. Steve, great to be back in the saddle with you.
Same here, buddy.
To this weekend,
looking forward to it.
And we look forward to seeing you, the viewer, tuning in this weekend. Bedford North Friday night, South and BG on Saturday. This has been FNL Gridiron presented by Beals Insurance.